Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. My name is Vineet. A shocking murder has come to light in Telangana's Nalgonda district, where a class 10 student has been stabbed, or has stabbed, I beg your pardon, a private school director and teacher to death. The victim has been identified as Roopa Reddy, the director of Naga Arjuna School. Police say Reddy was found dead with multiple stab wounds at her residence in Kondamalpalli. She was reportedly alone at home when the attack took place. Her husband, who was in Hyderabad, became concerned after she stopped answering his calls and alerted neighbors, who then informed the police. The student accused in the case has been taken into custody, is what we are learning at this point in time. We'll also talk about this important happening, if we can call it, or unfortunate happening that we can call it, and what were the reasons why something like this would happen with our guest. Joining us on the show is Mr. Sanjay Sahai, former ADGP Karnataka. Dr. Mohit Sharma, clinical psychiatrist, is with us on the show as well. Ashok Singh, director of Board Mass Education, joins us on the show. Last but not the least, Dr. Santvana Shrikant, social activist, also with us on the program. Mr. Sahai, I'll begin with you. Well, so we have covered a number of such cases in the past as well. What do you think happened here? Why, what attributes this kind of a behavior by a student?
Yeah, I think it is some sort of a delusion or some sort of a very deviant behavior, which we have seen in large number of other cases, not only related to students, but with various groups and with spousal crime and all that, which we have been talking about. So these students were reprimanded for, I think, keeping money and a couple of other things in the hostel. And then he was thrown out of the hostel. Like that seems to be as per whatever has been reported in the public domain. And that was the initiation of this whole thing. And they aimed at stealing and doing away with the booty. Unfortunately, the principal saw these boys and she could recognize, and at that particular point in time, they stabbed her 27 times and they got away. Now, the most important part of the whole thing is because a huge amount of psychological reasoning and explanation will happen, and also the Juvenile Justice Act will come into play. I, for one, am nearly convinced of the fact that it is a premeditated murder. Murder in the sense that you are going for a theft or a robbery, whatever you call it, and the point in time when you are not able to escape, you indulge in murder because the gloves and knife and all other things. It was very carefully planned. So, one, there is murder. Second, there is the robbery. And third, there is the conspiracy behind this whole exercise. So, these people, though they are students of the 10th standard, I think they are matured criminals, even if it is the first time crime. So, that is broadly that psychological benefit. I, for one, am not on the side of giving that psychological benefit. And I think there's a large number of people today who are just on the verge of reacting to anything and everything. And somehow this murder is slowly turning out to be a norm in cases even where there is very small issues or motives, or there is some clash which has happened in the near past. So I think people, they're not understanding what is the magnitude of a murder, what brings into play, and what will be the likely repercussion. So somewhere that particular point is missing, and education, because school education was just beyond that, living partners and early marriage and all that, we are seeing these sorts of cases.
Santvana Shrikant, what are your thoughts on this murder that has taken place? What is so symptomatic about what's going on with students and how they behave towards their teachers and the normal social fabric?
So let us not blame an entire generation because of one horrifying incident. In this Telangana case, 2 class 10 students allegedly planned a robbery that escalated into the killing of a school principal. And this reported planning and preparation suggested that this was not a simply impulsive adolescent quarrel. However, the final fact must be established through the due legal process. And if I quote the NCRB data, there is 31,365 cases involving juveniles in 23, with the 40,036 juvenile apprehended. Approximately 79% belong to the 16 to 18 age group. These figures are certainly a warning, but they do not prove that every teenager is becoming violent, as we used to generalize the thing. Crime statistics reflect the registered cases and are also influenced by the reporting pattern, policy, population, and the legal classification. Therefore, our response must be based on evidence, not panic, sensationalism, and generation blame. Yes.
Okay, we should not be, in fact, blaming the entire generation for what's happened over here. Mr. Ashok Singh, what are your thoughts, sir, on what's transpired here?
See, I will share my example. I deal with a lot of young students, and what is happening? Yes, the tolerance level in student is decreasing nowadays. Nowadays, that's a fact, and a lot of issues, social issues, even the kind of content they are exposed to, the OTT, and a lot of things are a lot of parameters plays into these kind of lower tolerance level in student or young children. But yes, I also agree this is case to case basis. A lot of students are um, completely focused towards studies, towards their goal, career. They have their career path, everything. They are focused on studies, but yes, a few 1 or 2% children are definitely. We need to take care of their behavioral issue or psychological, whatever problems they are facing with. And it's a mandatory that in school we should have a counselor who can understand their problem, because yes, even a small problem can trigger into these kind of incidents. So it's better to understand and resolve their problem. Parents are busy nowadays, so parents are not understanding even children's problem. A lot of time, no, if mother and father both are working, so teacher or the school or a counselor role is to at least understand their problem. And until unless you will understand the problem of children, because you will see these kind of incidents in US also. US is not a poor country, but problem is psychological, not economical. Here also, in this case, problem is more of psychological, not economical. They have not gone for theft due to some urgent money or something like that, but it's a behavioral issue. So you need to understand the pattern of these kind of psychological behavioral problem and address them at the school. And we need to even educate parents. They need to understand between these age, when child is growing up, if child is around say 14, 15, 16, you need to understand their problem. You need to understand their psyche also, what they are doing, how they are behaving in the classroom, how they are behaving in social circle. So if we will understand all these problem, then only we can expect good behavior. But these kind of incidents, yes, it's a 1 or 2 cases, and we can learn from these incidences and try to put counselor in the school, and even the parents know they need to visit counselor and they need to understand their problems.
All right, let me also bring in Dr. Mohit into this conversation. Dr. Mohit, you've heard the rest of the panelists. This is obviously, disturbing at a multitude of levels. What do you make of, what kind of an intervention is needed at the parental level as well as the societal level? So you're muted. Dr. Mohit, you're muted.
What are the problems actually we are seeing? It is the instant gratification. That adolescent wants things immediately. I want an iPhone, supervised clothes. My life should be again very luxury. And it is not that that I just want. It is that I want now. And by any means, I want it by any means. It doesn't matter how I will get it. So when a child loses the ability to tolerate the delayed gratification, and they are more attractive towards the shortcuts than the hard work, then the problems arise. It is also being somewhere influenced by the social media, though we cannot say social media creates murder, but it can amplify comparisons, envy, status anxiety, and pressure to develop a particular lifestyle. That person is also having iPhone, that person is also having luxury holidays, etc. This creates a perceived deprivation, though children's needs are actually met, but because of the social media, they feel that they are deprived. Social media does not necessarily increase a desire; they only just dramatically increase the speed at which I should get that I should get it. Another thing, what is the disciplinary action has been talking about that principal has taken. Disciplinary action doesn't cause murder, but the adolescent, we have to identify those may have pre-morbidly having some anger, and issue of entitlement, some poor impulse control, some resentment, and difficulty accepting the authorities. That is actually these all things are combined. We can call as conduct disorder or a oppositional defined disorder. In those students, a disciplinary action can cause increased humiliation or feel a personal insult. Teacher reprimand cannot explain the murder, but a person in a young age with a very poor emotional regulation can feel a strong resentment and humiliation and can go for it. So that's why we can see it's a stabbing is at 27 times, which sees that the person is having a very strong anger towards the child. For parents, I cannot blame them fully entire responsibility on not the parents, but parenting, school environment, peer group, social media, substance exposure, personality traits of the child itself. They all interact and cause this. So we need to look into the entire ecosystem around the adolescent which is going on. Parents may have watchful for some red flags, which is as like my child is going for unexplained expensive purchases, repeatedly lying at home, some is stealing at the home. He developing some aggressive behavior, bullying other children, having a cruelty towards animals. Such things, and also substance use is being started, and they are not agreeing to hear the word no. These are the red signs parents should able to identify them. If I go in with for the solution part, if you say, yeah, for parents, I will say don't only monitor those marks, monitor marks that child is getting in the exam, but also monitor his behavior, his friends with whom they are going on, spending and emotional changes child is getting. In school, there should be repeated, if there is repeated stealing, aggression, or bullying is being done by a student. In education, digital education should be given to the child. Children need to educate about the social comparison, influencer culture, and unrealistic display of the wealth. Children showing some persistent aggression, some conduct problems, or severe emotional dysregulation, they should receive some psychological or psychiatric intervention as early as possible.
Mr. Sahai, your thoughts on, sir, a certain level of intervention at a particular time, which is compulsory for a child before they can formulate such tendencies in their mind?
My personal understanding is I don't think the parents of the children will agree for a psychological evaluation on a regular basis. So that is first and foremost. Second is the capability and quality of the counselors and their intervention. The less said, the better. It is primarily for a checklist that you have got one or two counselors who don't have any capability, expertise, interest, attitude, or are listed to take it through. Third is parents and teachers. I think both parents, teachers, and the school management, all of them are responsible and they have left the child to grow in the digital jungle in whichever manner it grows, and offending a child is something which is completely unheard of. And most of these educational institutions, they are running behind children because they need the number. So the relationship between a child and a teacher has completely transformed in last 10 to 15 years, primarily because of commercial reasons. And whenever a child is admitted, you are going in for all those fancy facilities in school and colleges rather than as to what environment it provides. And does it even provide a good academic atmosphere, leave aside where there will be psychological stresses and strains. We have seen large number of cases in last couple of years where the school and college management, they have been squarely responsible for driving the child to commit suicide. And it has happened any number of cases we have discussed on large number of channels. So that is the next. So when you basically give up, then what happens to the child? Child grows as in a digital jungle. Now we have this whole issue of a digital iron curtain. So what the child does, the parents don't know, the teachers don't know, so nobody knows. And generally, we have a tendency to believe that this younger generation is too bright and too independent and they understand everything just because they can play around with the gadgets. So behind this digital iron curtain, you get into any of these cases, there is somewhere some problem with their digital ecosystem, either by way of getting information, by way of getting friends, by getting conspirators, or finding ways and means to commit a crime. So completely on the physical, parental, emotional, school management, I think all the sides, they're literally left off. The theoretical explanation that we are in a confluence of variety of issues and we need to tackle. Do we even have a SOP? Do we have a SOP, the way the school should handle these kids? So we literally don't have anything. So we come across when we land in a situation of this, and then they tell me what is the fault of the principal? Your school system is broken or whatever it is. What is the fault of the principal to suffer 27 wounds before she died? And then added to that, you have this Juvenile Justice Act. Juvenile Justice Act, you try your level best, and a kid who is between 16 to 18 years of age, having complete maturity because of the nature of influence which is provided all around the place in the current digital world, is treated as a child, and then the justice will be denied. Even in the best of the circumstances, even if the children board decides that he should be treated as an adult for a trial, finally, still he cannot be put to capital punishment, life imprisonment, and life imprisonment means, I don't know whether they have ever awarded. There is a necessary release. So all the preconditions which a child should enjoy under the Juvenile Justice Act is given to him. So this is where we are. Until unless, just to start with, you can start with a very strict SOP. And all those conditions in the Juvenile Justice Act, I go by all those conditions. But do we have the capability to bring expertise of that nature and evaluate? We have seen the performance of the Juvenile Justice Boards in large number of cases. I remember the Pune case. And there might be a couple of other cases also. If this is the quality of Juvenile Justice Board and they sit in judgment over a murder case of a professional who has worked for 25, 30 years and who has been stabbed 27 times, I think there's something gone really awry with variety of things around.
Mr. Singh, what needs to be fixed here according to you?
As Mr. Sanjay Sahai told, whatever we are talking only about theoretical aspects. Practically, to fix all this problem, you need to go at the root level, and problem arises from society, from house to school to peer group. You need to understand from where the problem is coming. And as Dr. Mohit was telling, psychological traits, no, even parents don't know how to understand these psychological traits. Even a small stealing can lead to these kind of things. How a parent can understand? So parent also don't know whether what kind of bullying he is doing with other student in their school. And even a teacher, no teacher is not capable enough to understand a small problem can lead to this kind of situation. So we need to educate entire environment, entire system. Then only you can stop this kind of problem. But for this, first of all, you need to have some kind of law, some kind of systematic training, and training has to given to school principal or teacher or a counselor, because yes, counselors are also not capable enough. Counselors are dealing with small problems. They cannot deal with these kind of psychological problem. They are dealing with small problem. If child is not happy, if child is not able to perform, how to make them learn, these kind of issues they are dealing with. They cannot handle these kind of bigger issues. So you need to think something, and just to address these kind of issues, first government needs to bring some kind of law, if you are running a school, you should have these kind of system, and training should be given. If situation is like this, what a teacher can take action, or principal should go to specialist and address these kind of problem, because somebody should know when to call a doctor. Because if you don't know when to call a doctor, you will not understand. You will think the problem is small, but you don't know what these can lead to. So we need to understand. So training has to be given, and some kind of law should be there, and parents would also understand, because this problem will even go, it will you will hear these kind of stories. What I'm thinking, you will hear these kind of stories even more and more, because these kind of problem, psychological problem in a nuclear family, when both parents are working and the children is alone, even when childs are there at boarding school, you will get these kind of problems in future also. So it's better government should take action, and some kind of law should be there to address psychological problems, to address these kind of psychological problem with children who are 14 to 18, because this is a very, very important period of time when you can rectify the problem. I'm not doctor, so but I think these 14, 15, 16, 17, no, you can address, and you can make them behave little better in society. So some law should come, and society as a whole should get little more training towards these kind of issues.
All right. Well, we've run out of time, but I appreciate the feedback that we received from all our panelists. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll take a short break now. Be right back.